morning, I am Prarav Dahal. Let's begin with the main stories. Performance of provincial governments in 100 days confined to public speeches, attributed to lack of jurisdiction, resources and employees. Home Ministry preparing a list of contractor companies failing to accomplish projects on time. Only 103 blacklisted among 7,000 active companies. US President Donald Trump says he will demand an inquiry into whether this election campaign was infiltrated for political purposes. And Chennai Super Kings defeat Kings 11 Punjab in Indian Premier League to enter the playoffs. Nepalese star bowler Sandeep Lamichhane shines in Delhi Daredevils' victory over Mumbai Indians. Let us now begin with some latest national political updates. The provincial governments established after the country entered into federal structure are completing their first 100 days this week. On the basis of appointment of Chief Minister, the government of province number 3 is completing its 100 days today. However, all 7 provinces have largely remained unproductive during this honeymoon period amid scarcity of required laws, staff and resources. Let alone the government effectively starting works to fulfill the promises made during elections, they have not even been able to follow their track as of yet. To some extent, the slow pace of working by provincial governments can be attributed to the first ever attempt of federalism in the country. Nonetheless, the provincial governments failed to exhibit energy and enthusiasm even during the initial days of establishment. They have rather been confined to the complaints of lack of adequate staff and laws meant for determining their jurisdictions. On the one hand, there is shortage of human resource, physical infrastructure and budget at provincial governments. Moreover, the centre has happened to prevail due to the federal government failing to hand over a concrete plan for development. Besides formulating essential laws, the federal government has also remained indifferent towards establishing the Finance Commission that is required to manage resources for provincial governments. The provincial governments thus have failed to produce anything effective other than being confined to mere lip service. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli is preparing to visit China within the next month. The implementation of the past trade and transit agreements, along with ensuring a high-level Chinese delegate's visit to Nepal, are going to be the major agenda of Premier Oli's visit to the northern neighbor this time around. The Prime Minister has said that this time his visit would focus on formulating policy aimed at ensuring maximum bilateral interests of both the nations. Foreign Minister Pradeep Gyawali visited China last month in a bid to prepare for Prime Minister Oli's proposed visit. The date of his visit will be determined at the Parliament meeting slated for the 29th of May following the declaration of the budget for the next fiscal year. The Chinese government has pledged to provide assistance in developing electric transmission line, railway and road networks in Nepal. Besides that, the government of Nepal will need to explore other potential areas of the Chinese assistance and investment along with exchanging high-level bilateral visits. During his upcoming visit, Premier Oli will particularly need to make initiative for effective implementation of trade and transit agreements forged previously. He will also need to put forth measures aimed at boosting the Chinese assistance in terms of both immediate and long-term priorities. The implementation status of the agreements forged during Oli's China visit last time as Prime Minister has remained hugely unsatisfactory. Recently, Nepal has also signed the much-touted Belt and Road Initiative. Taking all these aspects into consideration, it will be a challenge for Premier Oli to make his visit to the northern neighbor successful this time around. It is now time for a short break, but for more news, do stay with us. Welcome back. It is now time for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
The question is, why have the works of provincial governments remained ineffective? Your options are A. Unclear jurisdiction, B. Lack of resources, and C. Inadequate staff. The voting is on. You can type any WS, select your option A, B or C and then send it to 8080 to share your opinion with us. Many development projects have remained stranded as contracting companies fail to deliver on time. The Ministry of Home Affairs has become active in taking action against such contractors. The ministry has asked for the list of contractors and contracting companies that fail to conclude the projects within the deadline. Chief District Officers can take action against such contractors under public offence. However, only simple actions are taken against the contractors against the Public Procurement Act. Home Minister Rambahadur Thapa has directed the chief district offices across the nation to provide the list of contractors and contracting companies that fail to conclude their projects on time. Following the directive, the chief district offices are busy preparing the list. The District Administration Office has the right to arrest such contractors under the Public Offence Act in case of failure in the timely completion of projects that cause trouble to the public. According to the latest statistics, a total of 12,500 construction companies have received their licenses from the government. Out of the total, only 7,000 are in operation. Most of these companies receive advance amount without ensuring timely completion of their projects. The Home Ministry has claimed that such companies would no longer be able to walk free. The Home Ministry can only take legal action under the Public Offence Act. Only legal action can be taken under the Public Procurement Act. Under the Act, those failing to deliver are to be blacklisted for a period of 1 to 3 years with a small amount of fine. The Act does not provision the arrest of those involved. The interesting fact here is that only 103 companies have been blacklisted so far. A draft is being prepared for a law that would bring such contractors under criminal offence. However, the formulation of the law would test the government's commitment as well. And in this context, we'd asked the locals in Jhapa, Butwal and Chitwan regarding what they think should be done to the contractors who failed to complete projects on time. Let us now take a look at what they had to say.
समयमा काम सम्पन्न नगर्नेलाई कारबाही गर्ने अथवा उले फेरि टेन्डर बिड गर्न नपाउने व्यवस्था त्यो भयो भने मात्रै यो सम्भव हुन्छ।
समयमा उलाई पेस्की दिनु पर्यो, समयमा त्यो के रे कामको नियमन अनुगमन हुनु पर्यो र यो ठेकदार मात्रै दोषी नभइकन त्यहाँ ठेकदार कर्मचारीको मिल्नु मतौमा यो ढिलाइ हुन गइरहेको।
आयोग गठन गरेर त्यसको निगरानीको लागि छुट्टै एउटा समिति चाहियो। त्यो ठ्याक्कै गएर त्यसले चाहिँ तुरुन्तै कारबाही गर्ने।
काम नदिने लाइसेन्स अब लिन्छन्, तिनीहरूले काम नदिएपछि त अरु नयाँ आउँछन्।
समयमा काम गरोस् भनेर पहिला उनीहरूलाई अल्टिमेटम दिने अनि काम गर्ने वातावरणको पनि सिर्जना गर्ने र यदि उनीहरूले समयमा काम गर्दैन भने जोसुकैलाई पनि कारबाही गर्ने।
उनीहरूको चाहिँ लाइसेन्स पनि तपाईको चाहिँ आवश्यक परेको खण्डमा चाहिँ खारिजी समेत पनि गर्न सक्नुपर्छ।
Community schools have been collecting fees from students in one or the other pretext despite the Constitution has guaranteed free education in school-level education. Parents and guardians have been compelled to pay fees even to government schools in the name of educating students in English medium. Such a trend has moreover been established as a fashion rather than a mean to provide quality education to children. There are around 100,000 teachers working at 29,000 community schools across the country. More than half of them, however, are not qualified enough to teach in English medium. Owing to the same reason, the community schools that adopt English medium of teaching have been imposing different fees from students in the pretext of providing allowances to their teachers. Education up to grade 8 is compulsory and until class 12 is free of cost as per the constitutional provision. However, the community schools have openly been collecting monthly fees ranging from 300 rupees to 1200 rupees from guardians, along with admission fees as well. The fees are also being imposed in the pretext of running computer classes. According to Education Secretary Khagaraj Baral, the community schools are not supposed to collect fees in any pretext as per the Constitution. He said that action would be taken against any community school if found breaching the provision. Many community schools across the country also lack teachers for mathematics and science along with English. Besides the government's inability to deploy enough teachers, it's an added burden for students to pay for their education that otherwise should have been free of cost. Analysts say that the government should monitor and contain the practice at the earliest. That is all for the moment. Our next English bulletin will air at 11 a.m. Keep watching Kantipur Television SD for more news and entertainment. Have a great day ahead.